Hey guys, Buddha here bringing you another Starcraft 2 cast. I have my new overlay here. As you saw, I made it this morning. It looks kind of crappy, but it does do the job. This is an exhibition map between our favorite Canadian player, LiquidHuk, and his opponent, the Terran player IMMVP. LiquidHuk just played this morning in the Home Story Cup. I will not spoil it for you guys. Just wait for the video on demand to go up. Great final matches. Huk was in the final, so I will at least spoil that for you. His opponent, IMMVP, was code S in the GSL before. Actually dropped down to code A, but then came second in the May GSL. And didn't do that well in the Super Tournament, but I can't wait to see how well he does in the next GSL. And apparently this is a series of games. They are talking about who's next to play. Gonzi, some good, but TVT Monster, blah blah blah. And the game is going to get started. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I have been casting a lot of DreamHack games, and I am casting all of these live on my Justin TV account. If you want to know when I go live, just subscribe to my Justin TV account and you will receive an email saying if I am online or not, or when I go online. MVP saying that Huk is a PvP monster. I have witnessed it. I did watch the Home Story Cup, and most of those games were PvP. So if you like PvP, definitely look at it. And his win rate was definitely better than 25%. Now, this isn't an MLG Metalopolis, so Huk did scout the close ground positions just to check if his opponent MVP is there. MVP already getting gas as well as Huk, but that is kind of a must for a Protoss player. MVP getting gas, meaning he will try and put at least some kind of pressure before expanding. Now that they have both scouted each other, they know that they are not in close position, and we will most likely see a macro game here, because both these players kind of like it. Huk we have seen going for some DT harass early on. So we will see if he does that. I don't think so, because he doesn't have his second gas yet. His cybernetics core just finishing. If you are going for DTs, you usually get that second gas while the cybernetics core is dropping. He is saving up for an expansion. There it goes down, so no early DT harass anyways. MVP now scouting cross positions, still doesn't know where his opponent is, so he will see this nexus as soon as he gets there. Now, a couple of Marines out for MVP. He will be moving that barracks to the high, no, low to no high ground, and placing a bunker on the high ground. Huk actually mining from the gold patch and walking around, taunting MVP with his gold mineral patch there, trying to take a shot at the bunker. Gets intercepted by these Marines, and that probe does go down. And losing his minerals there. That is 10 minerals he just lost. He could have returned home. Not too big of a deal though, obviously. Now this first Stalker chasing out the SCV. We will see a tech path by Huk. You see him going for an extra assimilator and 2 more gateways. Very standard. He does not look like he wants to go too sentry heavy for now. Rallying his... actually taking out that SCV with the first Stalker. Now denying any kind of scouting. 2 gases for MVP. Still no tech building. Yes, oh, everything's hitting back here. So we will be seeing actually Banshees. He will lift off the starport and place it on the tech lab. And we will see a Banshee play from MVP. I don't know if Huk will suspect this. With 3 gateways, he will be able to get some stalkers out. I wonder if he actually gets cloak. Yes, he does get cloak, and good thing Huk has a robotics facility already going up, so he will be able to get that observer and chrono boosting. So this Banshee play might not do as much damage as MVP is hoping. First Banshee already halfway up. 30 seconds away from getting to Huk's base. In these close air positions, actually you see Terrans going for Banshees quite often, and I wonder if Huk actually knows that MVP will go for this. You can see still not producing anything out of his robotics facility. He really needs this observer. There it goes, chrono boosting also, so he is suspecting something, as well as rallying it in his main base. So this Banshee will do next to nothing here. He might be lucky and get a few probe kills, but I don't see it happening, especially since Huk has all these stalkers in position, plus that observer now out on the field, and MVP actually expanding to the top side of the map, and very particular here, he really cannot afford to let Huk scout this. But with this Banshee out here, the observer has to stay in the main base, or at least the expansion. So I don't think that Huk will scout this soon enough, but the Banshee does go down. Now MVP forced to make a second one because he really needs that observer to stay in the main base. The observer actually walking out, seeing the Banshee and turning around. Now that Banshee inside the middle of the main base. Lucky it didn't get shot down, and it will go down here. And losing another Banshee for absolutely no reason. Not the best control here by MVP. Now Huk getting 2 more gases, looking in great shape actually. He's 64, 241 supply. That expansion is now up for MVP. He needs to hold this. He needs to pray that Huk does not scout this, or else he is toast. Now a few tanks and an extra command center. You do not want to let Huk know that anything fishy is going on. So at this point, an extra command center is very normal. So Huk sees it, doesn't see that anything is too fishy. I wonder if he notices the lack of units up here actually, because there are very few units for MVP. A single bunker won't hold against this many stalkers and this single immortal, which does 50 damage to a bunker. So I don't think MVP will be able to hold this if Huk decides to push up. And there are a lot of units here. That proxy pylon already up, and Huk is deciding he will push up here. Tanks, not even siege. Nice force fields blocking 2 marauders, 4 marines, and a tank. Little lift here by MVP. Great reaction time. And this command center forced to walk away. Now Huk moving up the ramp will be able to blast through this wall. Nice force field preventing the SCVs from repairing everything. This bunker is still alive, still being repaired. Huk trying to blast his way through. Finally, the bunker goes down. That immortal doing huge damage. Now 5 kills on this single immortal. On the SCVs being pulled out. And you can see the income tab now, 24 SCVs to 39 probes. Still only this small expansion for MVP that Huk does not know about. You can see his view here, but still a very large deficit for MVP. He did hold that quite nicely. Now with 2 tanks, it will be a bit harder to push up. These zealots do tank a lot of damage though, so if Huk actually decides to push up, it might do a lot of damage. 1 immortal now on the field. These stalkers target firing the tanks. These marauders doing huge damage to the stalkers. MVP will be able to hold this, but at what cost? He is losing even more workers. You can see 10 workers killed to only that single one for Huk, and still more units. 2 pylons on the low ground will be able to warp in zealots on the high ground here, and that tank doing huge damage to these stalkers. And Huk should really reconsider this attack. Now warping in 4 zealots on the high ground will keep doing damage, but these marauders should be able to kite quite nicely. This tank might go down. 1 SCV repairing, the tank does go down, so a small victory here. 1 immortal at the low ground blasting away, still warping in more zealots. And Huk with this continuous pressure doing huge damage. Actually now 18 workers killed. This marauder, these marauders taking down the immortal that was doing such good damage to them. Now 21 workers lost for MVP. Now getting combat shields, an extra tank. But look at that income, 39 to 44 harvesters. Huk way ahead here. He should consider taking a 3rd right now, but he still does not know about this base, so he thinks that MVP is actually going to be starved, and maybe that's why he's just sticking to 2 bases. He believes that on 2 bases he will be able to crush MVP. He should be, but with all those mules, the income is actually quite close, a lot closer than it should be anyways, and Huk now there is a little lull in the game, not doing much. One drop, gonna go to Huk's main. Huk very ready here with 5 stalkers and 4 sentries. Gonna thwart away the drop. This medevac won't do enough damage. I don't think so anyways. MVP taking down the proxy pylon finally. And Huk now deciding to get that third. Will this probe actually scout? No, he is going at the other side of the world. And I don't think Huk even sees this expansion yet. So this has been up for quite a while now. And MVP on the in the dark on this third expansion, but has to expect it at this point. The observer's still at the ramp of MVP. He now sees that the expansion is up. So Huk actually thinks he is way more ahead than he is. He is ahead, but not by that much. You see, with those mules, the income actually very, very close. Even MVP jumping ahead for a second here, at least on the mineral intake. And this base has done wonders for MVP at this point. He is a bit supply blocked though, not for too long. Now finally mining gas from this far away base. Huk moving out with a very, very small force, but this won't do much against this nice little hold that MVP has at his natural base. Now, Huk must be thinking to himself that something's gotta be wrong here. I guess Huk really expected to win at this point. Still does not scout this. I can't emphasize how important this base is. This lone observer just sticking here and checking out the army. Huk has to know that something is up right now. Huk placing a lot of pylons all across the map just to be able to warp in reinforcements when he needs to. Now, what kind of tech? He actually has a Void Ray coming up. I didn't even see the Stargate coming. Double Void Ray actually from Huk here will do a lot of damage because there aren't that many Marines, only a handful, 9 Marines here. If the Stalkers and the Zealots can actually pick them off, the Void Rays can kill the rest quite easily. But Huk will need a lot more Void Rays to do that kind of damage. He will be able to harass with them at least, and in the unit counting station you see actually the supplies have